day 8 on beautiful One Tree Island. Can you give us a quick overview of the diverse activities going on today?
Yeah, there are many things going on. The main one that I was involved with is we're trying to set up an alkalinity enrichment experiment on this border zone between the first lagoon or the second lagoon, where the first lagoon has a higher sea level than the second lagoon. And then there's also a project involving sea cucumbers, because sea cucumbers ingest carbonate sands, and their digestive system, it's acidic, or at least more acidic than the ocean, and it causes these carbonate sands to dissolve. And so one of the questions there are, if the seawater becomes more acidic, will the gut of the sea cucumber also become more acidic? And then Jack has been in the laboratory doing the alkalinity measurements, and Sarah and her colleague have been out trying to map and ground truth the satellite data. So it's been a busy set of activities here.
So part of the alkalinity measurements, I believe, were taken from probes out on the border region, right? So what did we do there today?
Yeah, well, both today and yesterday, we went out to the zone where we think we might want to do this experiment. And we need to characterize how fast the water is flowing and how rapidly it's dispersing. And so, again, under permit, we released some dye tracers and followed these dye tracers along across this border zone. And we also took some measurements of alkalinity, which show how much the carbonate, how much the reef is growing, or how rapidly it's growing. And from our initial estimates, it seems that about 5% of the alkalinity in the water flowing across this reef is taken up over some periods of tens of meters by the reef.
We keep going back to the same sites for a couple of days now. Why is that?
Well, we originally had plans to do this set of experiments at one location here, and it really turned out upon further examination that this location wasn't going to be good for our experiment. So we kind of had to do a bit of prospecting around to find a good site for our work.
It looks like there might be one now.
Yeah, I think we found a pretty good one. This is, I believe, a high-risk experiment, not in terms of the risk to the reef, because I don't think, if anything, the kinds of alkalinity additions we plan to do would cause the reef to grow faster, but it's high risk scientifically, because we're certainly not assured of success. We don't know what the outcome of this experiment would be. You could say if we knew the outcome, there wouldn't be much sense in doing it, but we're not sure how the reef is going to respond to what we do.
So there's quite a bit of climate modelers around as helpers. Do you think it's a good idea to have brought them here?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I'm mostly a climate modeler myself, so I certainly think for climate modelers going out into the field is good. But I especially think that it's important to be in touch with observational data, because there's a tendency to either trust the data too much or even perhaps trust it too little. And I think when you see the complexities of what's involved in data collection, you realize that you can usually, if the measurements are done well, you can believe the measurements, but whether you can believe the interpretations based on those measurements, you start understanding all the kinds of things that can go wrong in doing an experiment. Not that things are going wrong in this one, but it's a challenge to get everything to go right.
Mm-hmm. And I can tell you they're certainly learning a lot here.
I think everybody who's involved in this kind of work is learning a lot, and I think we're working hard and having fun and doing good science.
So what are our plans for the next day?
Well, we really have been here about a week now, and we really have been a bit delayed in starting our main experiment. And there's a kind of balance that we need to strike, because if you start the main experiment too early, we might start it in an unsuitable location. But if we start it too late, then we might not have enough days to get enough data to make our results statistically significant. And so there's a certain amount of judgment of how much planning and preparation time should we be spending here, and how much time should we be spending actually conducting the experiment.
Good. So let's hope we soon get to the actual taking of the experiment.
I'm hoping that the day after tomorrow we'll get to the actually doing the main experiment. I think we need one more day of surveying before I feel confident that we've got a really suitable set of locations.
So stay tuned.
Okay, well,
And thank you very much.
thank you.